I thought I made this video the other day, but apparently not. Maybe that was an alcohol fueled hallucination. Although I didn't really know alcohol could fuel hallucinations. So about a few billion years ago, the Earth cooled and it solidified into what I believe they call an oblate spheroid, whatever, easy for me to say. Shortly after that, I was stationed in Omaha, Nebraska. I was an APA 6, decent league player, certainly not great. I had a roommate who was also an APA 6. I think I was a better player. He may disagree. It was a long time ago. At the time, good shot. The league operator of our APA there, who was a much better player than me and my roommate put together, decided to take us under his wing, so to speak, and teach us. Teach us mostly about pool, his philosophy towards pool. There was probably some life in general crap in there too. He was the wise old age of probably mid-30s by then, after all. And me and my roommate were still puppies in our 20s. One of the things that this guy asked us once, he posed the question of, well, first of all, he reiterated everything: contact-induced row, contact-induced spin, spin-induced row, swerve, all these different things that me and my roommate knew about because we were, like I said, decent players. So we understood the terminology. But this guy asked, he said, there's all these things, all these variables in a pool shot to be able to get it to go in the hole. And in talking about practice strokes, he asked, the hell are you trying to accomplish with your practice strokes? That was basically his question to us, was, what are you trying to accomplish with those? The gist of what he was saying was, let's say that I get lined up on this 14th correctly when I'm up here. I'm lined up correctly. I can bend over and shoot it, or I could have bent over and taken some practice strokes and then shot it. Clearly, those are my options. The question that was asked of me and my roommate was, what good do practice strokes do you if you're lined up correctly? So let's say that I was lined up correctly. And I take a bunch of practice strokes. That didn't me any good whatsoever. Because I was already lined up correctly. This guy's answer was no, it doesn't do you any good whatsoever. I'm not saying I 100% agree with everything this guy was saying, by the way. But in that case, yeah, okay. It was enough to at least make me think. I've learned something since then that gives a little bit more credence, and I'll get to that. But let's say I get lined up incorrectly. One of the issues, so I'm gonna bank this 11, but I'm gonna line up incorrectly on purpose while I'm standing up here. If I get down and I take a bunch of practice strokes, one of the things that I believe could happen is, because I'm being all authoritative, I'm doing this stuff right, I'm doing all this stuff the books say and all that, I can kind of like convince myself that I'm right, even though I'm wrong. Even though I'm wrong, I'm getting lined up to the shot. If I take enough practice strokes, it's possible to convince myself that I'm right, when in fact I was wrong. So that's one issue with that. Another one would be, let's say, yeah, I'm going to line up for this 11, and I'm going to get lined up wrong. Instead of a slight cut to my left, I'm getting lined up to hit it dead in the face. Okay, I get down here and I start taking my practice strokes, and I realize that I'm wrong, so I adjust something. I lean over a little bit. I'll put English on the shot at the last second. I don't do what everybody I think says you're supposed to do, is get up, get set up again, get lined up again up here. The practice strokes are going to convince me that I'm right when I'm really wrong, or they could convince me that I need to do something to get it right, or they could do nothing. If I'm right to begin with, they could do nothing at all, just validate it. The other issue that I've had, and I have talked about this in some other videos, is I don't have the concentration a lot of times for more than zero practice strokes, quite frankly. So there are an awful lot of times where I get lined up and shoot that like that and have way better success. And it's not even close than if I got the exact same shot. I don't remember where the object ball was, but I know it was a slight cut. Then if I got the exact same shot, got lined up, I believe correctly, and took a bunch of practice strokes. I don't have the concentration to do this. It's already gone. My eyes have already started to lose focus, which probably because my brain lost focus, but the eyes are going to follow suit. It doesn't do me any good to be down here sawing away at my thumb if I'm already lined up correctly in the first place. That's kind of the whole point that this guy that was teaching us was kind of trying to say, is they can do more harm than good in a lot of cases. I don't think he ever talked to us about the concentration part of things. But the fact that a practice stroke can convince you that you're right when you're in fact wrong, he definitely talked about that. And he definitely talked about the fact that if you're already lined up correctly, what good is this stuff doing when you're bent over? Wasting time? I don't know if I'd go quite that far, because it is getting your arm a little bit used to moving again after it's been idle for a whole 10 seconds. So I'm not saying it's useless. I'm saying it's not the secret pool. Yeah, that's as good as I can get with it. I'm just as good at doing that with zero practice strokes. Getting into my stance and doing that doesn't count as a practice stroke for me, by the way. I'm just as good at doing that as I am sawing away at my thumb for a long time on the shot. And in many cases, I'm better with a very low number of practice strokes or zero, because of the concentration issue that I don't have. I don't have the concentration that I should have. If I get lined up correctly, then I can just go and shoot the ball in. By that time I did. Now why did I miss that shot? Because I'm talking to the camera? I'm not allowed to use that excuse when I'm doing YouTube. I think I missed that shot just because I rushed it frankly. But I don't believe practice strokes would have done me any good at all unless I got down here, lined up wrong, did my practice, said, shit, I'm not lined up right, and then got up and realigned myself. If I got lined up wrong, realized I'm wrong with my practice strokes, and then shifted, I think that's worse than, I think that's a bad thing to do. And this is a pretty minimal shift that I have to do on that shot right there. Or you could take it to extremes. Then you could say, okay, I'm lined up good. Oh, fuck, I'm not. And come over here like this. You could do that. That was definitely an exaggeration, clearly. But wouldn't it have been better Would it made more sense to just stand up, repeat what I do for phase one, phase two, the race that would it be better to just do that and then get lined up. And then if I feel like taking a practice stroke to make sure my arm is still working, I already know I'm lined up, so I'm not checking my alignment at this point. I'm just making sure my arm works and trusting the alignment that I already had set up back when I was standing up straighter and could see the angles and all this and that. I've been setting up this shot perfectly straight in. If I want to set up with a slight angle, guess what? I can see this angle better than I can see it down here. Maybe that's just me. I don't think that's just me though. I think I can get my alignment up here, come down here. Oh, gotta put the ball in, Silts. If you don't put the ball in, it makes you look like an idiot on YouTube. I think that's the same, like in the YouTube chart or something like that. So I'll try it again. Wasn't lack of practice strokes that made me miss a shot. Once again, I rushed it. Talking to you, trying to hurry it up so you don't fall asleep if you're still awake anyway. End up. Yay, made a shot. Anyway, so that was one of our big lessons back then, was what good does a practice stroke do you? What harm can a practice stroke do to you? Now me, I take practice strokes when I can, but there's a lot of times that I can't do it. Because I don't have the concentration for it. There's an awful lot of times that that zero is too many practice strokes. Those are the times when I really should just put the stick away. But if I can manage that, put the ball in, you don't want to make it this time, by now. Miss shots on YouTube, you look like an idiot. Something? Didn't I just say something like that? I think I did. Yay! I don't know, have I rambled on long enough? The whole point of this is that just because you were taught to do something, or just because a book told you to do something, or you watched other guys and they did that certain thing, doesn't necessarily mean that it's always a good thing. Doesn't necessarily mean the opposite. There's a bad thing either. Know yourself, know what is going on with you. I know that with me, too many practice strokes is way worse than not enough practice strokes for me. And that's because of my concentration or ability to concentrate. That's it. I'm going to make this video this time, by God. I still think I made it earlier and forgot where I put it. Later.